what if the very products that are supposed to be protecting your dog from pests are actually harming them?
This is a big problem, I think, due to fear of things like, mostly Lyme disease. There's a lot of pressure to use particularly the chewable things, the chewable chemicals that will kill ticks and fleas that get on our dogs. There's some of the topical things are still in use, the ones that you have to part their fur and put directly on their skin on the back of the neck. And these things are ridiculously poisonous.
Now, if you're anything like we were, before we found these natural methods that we're going to be talking about later on in this video, you maybe thought this is just a harmless oil that I'm going to squirt on my dog's back that's going to spread throughout their coat and repel fleas and ticks. But that's just not how it works. They actually get into your dog's system and don't repel anything. The pest has to actually land on and bite your dog and take on a blood meal in order to actually be taken out by these toxic chemicals that are now circulating inside your dog.
And to some extent, the ones that you feed your dogs are even more insidious, right? I mean, we feel good because the dog loves the little chewy treat. And because it's on the inside of the dog, we feel like we're not exposed to the toxic chemical. And yet it has to infiltrate your dog's bloodstream. Your dog has to get bitten by the flea, by the tick, and it can take several hours, if not a couple of days, for the chemical to kill the tick. In the meantime, the tick could be transmitting disease. And so, for example, for something like Lyme disease, it's kind of like 48 hours for the chemical to kill the tick, but it takes 48 hours for the tick to transmit Lyme disease. Who's going to win? And I think overall, the problem is that our dogs are the ones who are losing. These are very toxic chemicals. The main side effects, besides the obvious, anything you feed your dog could cause diarrhea, vomiting, lethargy, but the main side effects are neurological. So we're seeing a lot of dogs with tremors, ataxia, wobbliness, getting confused, walking in circles. Seizures are a prominent side effect of these toxic chemicals, all the way to coma and death.
And you might ask yourself, well, okay, these are possible side effects. So that makes it sound like they probably don't happen all that often. They probably won't happen more than they will, but that's also a myth. These things happen very, very often. They are very common. It is not uncommon to find countless testimonials of people. It's the first time they ever put it on their dog and their dog seized on the floor right in front of them. So this is not something that, when you really look and you weigh the risks of the possible side effects, which are likely from the chemicals versus what you're trying to prevent, the chemicals are far more dangerous than what you're trying to prevent.
Right, and it's not as simple as, okay, well, if I give it to my dog and he has a seizure, I just won't ever give it to him again. Or if I put the chemical on my dog and she has tremors afterwards, I'll just wash it off and then it will be gone. Unfortunately, it seems like these neurological disorders that are created are a permanent feature. And so now you have a dog with a damaged neurological system, which has a lot of other implications. And the bottom line is that this type of chemical exposure is not safe. It's not safe for your dog, for you, or your family. And there's loads of natural, safe alternatives.
So the good news is that the safe, natural alternatives actually will repel these pests off of your dog, which is what we were trying to do in the first place.
True.
We don't want to wait for them to land on our dog before they're taken care of. We just want to keep them off. And so if you can be effective at keeping the ticks from even wanting to go on your dog, keeping the mosquitoes from even biting your dog, that's how you prevent heartworm. Your dog can't get heartworm if they're not bitten by an infected mosquito. And so these types of things are absolutely possible. Now, I will say with the natural products, it's typically a more layered approach. There's really not a one and done unless you maybe live in an area where you're not really by woods, you're not really by water, and it's a very low tick population. situation. Usually you're going to need to use a couple of these options. But just for example, garlic is a great option to keep pests away from your dogs. It is not toxic if given in a reasonable amount, and honestly, in order for your dog to hit a toxic level, they would have to eat way more than they ever would be even willing to eat. You can find supplements that are made specifically, garlic supplements that are made for dogs. You can give it in a measurable dose. That's what we like to do. It's very effective. You give it a couple of weeks before the flea, tick, mosquito season is going to start. It builds up in their system, and you're good to go as you give it through that season into the fall, and then you can stop for the winter. So that's one option. Another option is going to be your chemical-free tags. You've got some wonderful collar options that have a little bit of a different, depending on the kind that you find. There's going to be some that have, certain types of beads or things baked into the beads, things like that, that have been known to be very effective as well.
And so you can mix and match these things. You can feed your dog garlic and put a special tag on their collar. You can feed your dog garlic and use the tickless device. You can use multiple types of collars together, or you could put on a collar and use a natural essential oil spray. So you're not limited to just one thing. And also, like both of us, we don't want our dogs bringing ticks into the house. Whether or not the tick is going to die, I'm not so interested in. I really would rather them not get on my dogs in the first place, because my dogs are in and out all summer long. And so we're really trying to repel these things, and there are just a bunch of options that will do this quite effectively. You might have to experiment around and kind of find out what works for your dogs, where you live, where you take them. If you take them camping, if they're hunting dogs, if you live in the deep woods, those might be different considerations. But odds are you'll be able to find one effective thing or an effective blend of options that will work synergistically to help keep bugs off your dog.
If you're interested in detailed information about the different types of pests, how they can, spread disease to your dog, that type of thing, natural options that we have found to be very safe and effective over our years of experience that we would recommend. We have a detailed guide that is parasite prevention and treatment. We'll link it in the description box below. We will give specific types of products that we have found, how they work, special considerations for puppies. Please be careful with even some natural products are too strong for puppies. So you really want to make sure you look at the specific directions and products in regards to puppies, because we don't want to do any damage there. But really just know that there is some really amazing options out there, and that just because you can buy something over the counter does not mean that it's safe and effective in the way that you have been told. So we encourage always stay away from chemicals, choose natural whenever you possibly can, and stay tuned for more information just like this.